Welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst... Who was that? I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Good morning,
Jenni.
everybody.
Yeah, sorry, Jenni. Even Mozart is not going to raise the tone of this show.
It might. It won't. Hello.
Today you're on, Jeff.
You know, I do my best to raise the tone of this show.
Okay.
Not too far. We don't want it to become educational.
No, it's not allowed. I'd have to flag it as educational, and then no one would ever watch it. Right, today we have got with us people. Apparently so. The stats say so. And the worst thing is at the moment, right? Since I got to 1,000, YouTube keeps sending me emails saying, "Tell people to like and subscribe, and tell them to send you money." I'm like, what?
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So everybody, like, share, and subscribe, and if you can, take
That's because they take a piece of all the fucking super chats you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dicks.
Right.
30%, isn't it?
Yeah, 30%,
I have no idea.
I think.
That's outrageous, that amount.
Considering it's for basically nothing from their perspective. It's extra. Yeah. They make their money from they make their actual money from advertising. They make their money from advertising. Hello everyone. Today we've got with us
Hello.
Momma Atheist, Godless Granny.
Hello.
MathPig.
Oink oink.
Godless Scummer.
Oi oi.
And Jenni of Dave.
Oof da.
Oof da. Ooh. Who's Nicola in the chat? Should I be nervous? Right. Are you all prepared for some very, very terrible questions?
Oh, I just woke up.
You just woke up. You'll like the first question.
Amanda gets to answer first.
Okay.
Fuck off.
Everybody, welcome to the Manda's Grumpy Show. Hey!
Something you get to experience every morning. Aren't you lucky?
Somebody get down to some happy pills.
I know, right?
See how wonderfully cheerful Manda is on a Monday morning, first thing on the internet.
Not even a little.
Not even a little.
What
time is it there?
8:24.
8:20. What the fuck are you doing up at 8:24 on a Monday morning?
Actually, normally I'd be up a few hours earlier than this because I get up at like 5:30 to get Angel ready for school. But he hasn't been to actual school in many months, so I'm used to being able to sleep a little bit.
It's gonna be weird actually having to get up at like real times again. When this thing's over.
We're all fucked. That's how the world
I've actually gotten used to not getting up at 5 in the morning now.
The worst thing is, if it wasn't for this, you probably wouldn't be getting up till 5 in the afternoon.
Probably.
I'd be up at 4:30 in the afternoon at least.
Why would you get up at all?
It's true.
This is not wrong. Right.
I love it when Dave complains how early this is.
It's fucking early.
It's 1 in the afternoon for him.
Fucking half the day gone.
It's first thing in the afternoon.
First thing in the afternoon is still the afternoon, though. You've had at least part of the morning.
Yeah, the problem is it takes me about 3.5 hours to go from awake to pain-killed enough that I can function.
Yeah, true.
So I need kind of those 3.5 hours of doing nothing.
I think each of us should get our own ball so we can all be bouncing at the same time.
I highly disapprove of that.
I tried the ball thing. I was also kind of drunk when I did it, but it was really fucking exhausting. So
I was actually going to say, seeing as I quite often consume alcohol and these things, I don't think that's going to be a fucking very good idea.
I can't do it.
You can't do it.
Yeah, because you would stab yourself with your knitting needles.
No, because the hardware in my pelvis would be damaged.
I know. I was kidding about
Oh,
the, well,
okay.
I was kind of kidding about the knitting needles. You really would stab yourself with your knitting needles, though.
Have you got fake hips too?
No, I have my spine is fused from T10 down, and I've got rods on either side of my spine, and my lower level of my spine is bolted to my pelvis.
Cool.
Am I the only fully complete person on the panel today?
Yeah.
What'd you
What?
say?
Am I the only fully complete, not broken person on the panel today then?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of us are cyborgs.
I think the rest
Fake
of us
eyes,
have,
fake hips.
the rest of us
wrist.
have some. I got fake.
The rest of us have been improved.
I don't even have a filling in my head. Like,
Well, I do. It's
either.
good brain.
Smug
Well,
bastard.
you
I'll
live
do
in the
MathPig,
UK.
it's
Soon
called
you'll
brain.
have no teeth at all.
Right, Sirif says it's 7:25 a.m. there. What the hell are you doing up?
Because we love you, Dave.
Because some people realise that the early part of the day is the best part of the day, Dave.
You only say that because you're meant to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's only people that have to get
And
up that say it's the best part of the day.
It fucking is the best part of the day.
I mean, it's
I got
definitely
up
good
at
for
3:30.
extroverts. That's not getting up at 3:30. That's not having gone to bed yet. That's a
Okay,
nap in the
actually,
evening.
admittedly, I will
used
tell
to
you
get up
this.
at 3:30.
When I
What?
went to the beach last year for vacation, I was up at 5:30 every morning. We go downstairs. They had a Starbucks in my hotel. We were on a, at a resort. Get a Starbucks and go sit on the beach by myself and watch the sunrise. Nobody else on the beach. That was okay. I like that. I didn't mind getting up early for that.
See,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I prefer to stay up for that and then go to sleep.
Yeah. I'm usually a stay up all night kind of person, but
It's a nice
When-
beach.
when I-
Nice
when I was
beach
working-
where's there?
When I was
What?
working, I'd have to get up so I could be to work by 8 o'clock, and I would get up at 4:30, just so I'd have some quiet time to myself, and I'd sit on the back porch and in the dark and drink my coffee and watch my dog, listen to the birds waking up and stuff. It was very, very pleasant. I'm glad I don't have to do that crap anymore.
No,
yeah,
this is the
mornings
worst
are
thing.
still inherently stupid, though.
This is the worst thing. This is the worst thing. I used to when I worked, I much preferred to go in very early in the morning.
yeah.
And then leave early and have the rest of the day. So I'd go in at 5 or 6 6 in the morning. So it's not
Best time
crazy.
when I worked at McDonald's, I always took the early shift on the Saturday. Start me at 6:30, 7 in the morning. You finish at 2 in the afternoon, and you people coming in dying and from a Friday night, going, "Oh, the day's starting." Oh, fuck that! My day's over. See you all later. I have my money made.
Yeah. The problem I have with being the early person is you also tend to be the one they tend to go to when they need extra people later on. 'Cause you're not doing anything now, even though you've done all your work.
I used to
Well,
go
they
in
say-
first thing in the morning and go over to the McFlurry. You know the way they do the wee swipe thing and put the chocolate in the top of it, and I would take a Coke like a glass and I would put it underneath that thing in about 4 or 5 shuffles and all the different McFlurry toppings, and then just sit there and eat chocolate and wake up in the morning. Nobody there. It's there.
Who's buzzing?
Yeah, who's buzzing?
Probably me.
Your new mic has been posted. It'll be there tomorrow.
Right, should we do a question?
See, what was that
Sure.
not put on? Was that not put on the wish list then? People should put like a new mic on the wish list instead of like, I don't know, a ball gag or something.
Oh no,
One
the
of those
mic
is
and
essential.
the ball gag were on the wish list. I got both.
She got both a mic and a ball gag.
One of those was essential, the other was a nice to have.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume which one I think you think is
just-
essential.
Just don't get the two confused, all right, or else you might.
It doesn't matter, they don't work together anyway.
Yeah, I guess they're not congruent. So
No, I was more concerned about Amanda having the mic sort of stuffed in her mouth like that, and be a bit of a loud echoing mum kind of thing, you know.
I gotcha. I'll be good. Yeah, question, Dave.
Poor Amanda loses her voice altogether.
Did you see my tweet?
You asked me that already.
You didn't answer.
I said no. I just fucking woke up.
Amanda,
look-
is your voice all funky because of intubation issues?
Is that the first question,
Well,
Dave?
The
No.
coughing. With the pneumonia, there's so much fucking coughing. It got to the point where I couldn't talk at all for a while. So, yeah.
I'm sorry you're going through that. That's icky.
It is, but I'm getting better. Thank you, Jenny.
Dave's been talking about your love box all morning on Twitter. Is that the one you're talking about, Dave?
Yeah.
Are you gonna make me look it up?
I'm gonna send it to you.
I will say that I know I have seen the tweet in question. It is I'm very impressed with that. Very thoughtful.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Apparently, we've upset Chad.
There. Question focus, people.
Funny thing though, when we decided to get the box for you, that's exactly what he said you would put in it.
Told you.
Sorry. Awesome. I'm
I
glad.
don't know what you're talking about.
No clue.
No clue.
Moving on.
Right.
Now you can do a question.
Now we can do a question. Okay. Question 1009. What do you consider to be the least sexy name?
Dave.
Oh,
Chastity.
Chastity. In a guy or a girl?
A girl.
I'm thinking Ralph.
Ralph. That's a terrible girl's name.
Oh, you want
No,
girls'
it's just-
names?
No, either. I was just taking the piss.
Concepcion.
What?
Yeah, that's a real name.
I don't believe you.
I've heard it.
Fuck you. It is.
You've heard it.
Somebody back me up here.
Granny did.
It is. There you
Granny
go.
says,
Thank you.
other than Dave, tough one.
If you're a fertile woman, it sounds more like a threat than a name.
Yes.
All right.
Loyal says Bob. Bob is the name of
like that.
Oh, fuck Bob. Fuck all the Bobs.
Bob.
Fuck Bob.
like all the Bobs. Rather than
I
just
have
one.
an issue with a Bob, okay?
Do you?
Yes.
One in
My
particular?
pervy ass neighbor is named Bob.
Oh, come on. Bob in Blackadder was quite cute.
Yeah.
That's true.
Paul Camish says Chardonnay.
When I go to my hairdresser, I always say stacked Bob, please.
Is Bob particularly stacked?
It is when it's my hair.
Never again's heard it.
I have no prejudice against any sort of female name, but I think probably just because it's modern slang, I don't think anyone for a generation now is going to name their daughter Karen.
No.
Good point.
I think for female voice names, Ethel.
Ethel. I don't
Ethel's
like
right
Ethel.
up there.
Esther.
What?
Esther.
Esther.
Or Myrtle.
They're very
Manda.
1950s names.
Manda.
Manda.
No,
Did you say Manda?
No.
Did you just say Manda?
Not fucking interrupt me. I was trying to get Amanda's attention.
You such
Fucking hell! Talk about a fucking straw man. My ex's name was Esther.
My sister's called
Sorry.
Esther.
Oh no, that's not
Yeah,
good.
that's terrible.
Oh, I've lost
You
it.
know-
Right, Sammy, I'm gone.
But wait. There was I knew someone who had known a Concepcion who was married to a Jesus who had a son named Angel. So,
Who the hell
Yeah.
would call their kid Angel?
I heard it was a dog's name.
A dog's name.
fuck off.
See,
No, the best dog name is Steve.
No, the best dog's name is Fuckface.
Fuckface. I know what the best cat name is now.
Fuckstick.
Fuckstick, yes.
Right.
Sammy says Gary, Sherry, Sharon. Never again.
That
says
was my
Fred.
nickname.
Aaron.
My middle name is awful.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
yes. We agree.
Math Awful Pig.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I appreciate Granny's is better.
Yeah, it's actually better than his real name.
I'm lucky I do not have a middle name.
And what about Fred for a woman?
No, I like that.
Do you?
Winifred. Oh, come on, you know exactly why I like that, though.
Well, I know there's a Fred that I like.
Yeah.
Apparently, A-Man
Jeff,
is
my
a name
husband
too.
doesn't have a middle name either.
No.
You know?
Cool.
I thought it was the Christian thing to do.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I was never baptised.
Harry, says Cyril. Santi says Karen. Kathy, Elizabeth. Carol, Rimmer. Rimmer's not a first name. Mary.
I think the worst name you could give a girl is Elizabeth, because everybody out there is so bad at enunciation that they will call her Elizabeth for the rest of her life.
Yeah, but she's going to pick another name anyway.
No, I think the worst name for a girl right now is Karen.
Yes, right
Every
now.
person who's actually named Karen is like, fuck my world right now. So.
It's just like become. Yeah, like I said, nobody for a generation is going to name their daughter Karen now, are they?
And then there's Chad, and I'm sorry, Chad, but your name got fucked too. So
It's Chad to Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that the standard Karen, or is that the pretentious Caren?
Ugh. I don't know. No, it's the standard Karen. Where the fuck did MathPig go?
No idea.
Okay.
Don't tell me his middle name's Karen.
I hit the wrong button. Fuck off.
That's a lot.
MathPig, why did your parents give you the middle name of Karen?
Oh, my middle name is worse than Karen.
Oh,
Nerdy says Quentin.
No.
And Sammy says, I will pay £1 million to anyone that can guess my middle name. Is it Jehovah?
It's right there in the chat.
Rumpelstiltskin.
No, Sammy. First name Remember, middle name Sammy, last name Jenkins.
Yeah.
Loyal says, any celebrity's son and daughter's name.
Oh.
Glober Mum says, oh, hello, Glober Mum. Says, my maiden name is my middle name now. That makes sense.
That's what my mother kind of did. She shifted her maiden name to your middle name.
So basically, she's just added a surname.
Yeah.
It never again said, I come from a long line of folks named Elizabeth, and none of them used it. I don't know any adults that use the name Elizabeth. Because there are the various different abbreviations you can go with.
Yeah, so I've got very good friends. She goes by Liz, so.
And there's Beth and Bess and Bessie.
Mm-hmm.
I like the name Lizbeth. Someone I worked with at NASA was named Lizbeth. I really liked that name.
That's just because of the Stieg Larsson novels, though, isn't it?
And do you know anyone called
It
Jeffrey?
was well before that.
Yeah.
What, Dave?
Said, do you know anyone called Jeffrey?
Yes.
Yeah, you're fucking speaking to one right now.
No, you don't use Jeffrey, do you?
No,
But
but
you
that
mean
is
like
my name.
actually is called like uses the full Jeffrey?
Uses the name as a.
No.
Only Epstein and only my son knows him. No, just kidding. That's a joke about the.
See, that's what happens.
Epstein.
That's what happens when you name Jeffrey with a J. You get someone like Epstein. You see.
Yeah, nobody's naming their kid Jeffrey this year with a J. even with a G though, because like people aren't going to know that your name is with a G unless they look at your license.
Jeff is
They
a good
can't
name
fucking
depending on
pronounce
how
it.
you spell it.
You got to spell it Geoff.
Geoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only way to spell it.
Okay.
It's the right way. There's a right way
Yeah.
and a
So
wrong way.
So if Scummer's name is pronounced Jeff. It's Jeff.
Yep.
Oh.
Isn't it?
No.
You okay,
Right.
Ted?
Oh, it's just
Livermore.
perfect.
It says Biff. Biff is a terrible name.
Oh.
It isn't a real name.
It was in fucking Back to the Future. Of course it's a real name.
Yeah. Chad thinks the Chads should get some love. Paul says Jezebel. Chad says, I'm not a Chad, but I played one on TV and maybe a bit in real life. There you go. Doc says, I think the worst name for a girl is chlamydia.
Oh, come on. No, nobody seriously has named their daughter
Yes.
that, David.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I think that's an urban myth. That's one of those
No, it's
racially
down from the
charged urban
register.
myths. No.
Some people have definitely registered their kid's name that.
I would have to see it myself. I just don't buy it.
My brother hasn't went by his actual name since, maybe 25 years. We all call him his nickname, and it's an actual name, but he's ended up with it. And
When did you start getting called Bob?
Oh God, don't fucking no. Please don't. No. No.
Well, even I don't use Robert. I use Robbie. You know, most people, a lot of people change the name. Like, you're Dave, but I'm guessing you're David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you David from now on.
I won't answer.
You don't answer me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I can't stand David now, which is really weird because I couldn't stand Dave until I went to uni. Probably getting drunk. It's easier. And then a couple of years later, I dropped at David. I can't stand it.
Manda, I would suggest that you don't go down that line with Dave, all right?
Why?
Mandy.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, just saying.
Why haven't you listed that as a terrible name?
You don't like Mandy?
I have reasons for not liking it, but it is a terrible name anyway.
Does that have anything to do with the song?
No. That song is actually
It should.
sweet.
I know, I like that song.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
I can't stand it. Who's that guy?
Barry Manilow?
Yes. Oh, God.
How could you hate Barry Manilow? Who the fuck hates Barry Manilow?
Oh, his songs are just such shallow drivel.
But
But they sound pretty.
They
Oh.
sound
Yeah.
pretty.
they're pretty.
I couldn't care enough about Barry Manilow to hate him, the guy. So
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Don't know him.
I can
Never
hate his
Again-
song.
You would
Chad?
know him if you heard the songs, Dave.
No, I know him a bit. Chad says, I always liked the name Lumnop. What's Lumnop?
What?
That's the one I was
LMNOP.
laughing at earlier.
No. That's not a name.
It's not a name. Edward, no.
No.
Never Again says Snickers. Loyal says Roger. Global Mum says, my mother's dad's name was Rodney. He hated it and went by Rod.
Spare the rod.
Spare the rod.
Ugh.
Sammy
My
says,
grand
oh, I
is
get
called
it.
Norman.
It was called Normal. Norman. So French.
I don't think he was French. He definitely didn't fucking look French.
What does French look like? Did he not have
Not
a
my
striped
grand.
sweatshirt and onions?
No.
And a mustache.
And a mustache.
With a really thin mustache.
Right.
And marbles in the mouth.
I don't think
Marvel's it?
Norman's a bad name at all, sir.
No, I don't. Well, no, it's a bit old now. It'll probably come back into fashion in 20 years.
Means Norseman, so essentially, so
Yeah.
don't mind it.
Sammy says Harold. Paul says Frog Miller. Rab says Rab.
My
That's
my uncle and godfather was Harold, and nobody called him Harry. It was
Okay,
always Harold.
Yeah.
Dave, honey, we
Yeah.
can spend all day on this question. Just
Apparently
listing
so.
fucking names.
People
so
just keep giving names and it just keeps
move on.
going.
No, wait. You answer and then move on.
Just let me finish this. Chad Hall says LMNOP. What does that mean?
Leminope?
What?
Leminope? Leminope?
LMNOP.
We already did that one.
Yeah, but he
Leminope.
doesn't... Leminope.
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 If you're making Manda angry, being very upset.
Okay.
So stupid.
Wait there. Okay. Nerdy says, what about Biggest Dickus?
What's so funny about Biggest Dickus?
I'm not in the
Biggest
mood.
Dickus.
I'm too tired yet.
Gary
He has
says...
a wife, you know.
Gary says... What's her name? You've forgotten her name, haven't you?
What?
What's her name? His wife.
Regina.
No, it's not.
Can't remember her name. She's
No, I
not as
can't.
funny.
Incontinentia.
Incontinentia. Yeah. Incontinentia buttocks.
Right.
Gary says Engelbert Humperdinck, which I think is a terrible name. Right, should we go to the next question?
Yes.
We need everyone to say yes before we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Amanda's not willing to say yes.
No.
I don't know if Amanda's still there.
There's a way to get her gun to shoot Dave.
Right.
Maybe if you go to the next question, she'll come
The
back.
next question's quite good, actually. Relative, anyway. Right, okay. Question 1010. Would you rather be able to take back anything you say or hear any conversation that is about you?
Don't give a fuck about either one of them.
You have to pick one. Which one do you give a fuck about least?
Probably don't give a fuck what people say about me, so we'll go with the other one, being able to take
Yeah.
things back, because I usually fuck up a lot.
Yeah, I think my answer would be the same on that, because I'm not that fucking bothered what people say about me behind my back anyway. You know, so you know, as long as the people that, you know, as long as the people that matter know what's fucking true about me, I don't give a fuck. So you know.
True. Nerdy says, I think I'd like to hear any conversations about me. That way I get more information rather than delete it. Sirif says, take something back. Gary says, take something back. Ilya says, take something back. What people say about me is none of my business. Never Again says, same here, MathPig. Hearing what others say about me only pisses me off and makes me say more shit I want to take back.
Yeah.
Granny.
Definitely take stuff back. You know, not being able to hear what other people are saying about me, you know, I'm already in that boat, so that's no change. But being able to take things back would definitely be an advantage.
I've lost where we're up to. Sirif says, no one talks about me, so I have nothing to listen to. Sammy says, I think knowing what people say about you gives you an advantage. I read that one. Global Mum says, take everything back. Chad says, hear everything. It's consistent with one of my Chadisms. Education is no load to carry. You have to live with what everyone says about you, even when they're pissed off. Amanda.
But you do
I don't want to
anyways.
hear what people have to say about me, so I'll go with taking shit back.
Jenny.
Man, you never need to take anything back because you're always right.
That's fucking right. Doesn't mean I don't say mean things sometimes, though.
Even if they're right.
Even if they're right.
Jenny.
I guess I would like to be able to take something back, but not what I say, because I'm usually not daft enough to say something terrible. I'd like to be able to take emails back.
That counts.
I've written a few of those I regret. Yeah. Yeah, if I could take emails back. Because whatever people are saying about you, you're fucked anyways. They're going to say it anyways, whether you know it or not.
Yeah. But if they know you can hear them, they might stop talking about you behind your back.
They'd find another opportunity.
Then you'd hear it.
Oh, it's an ongoing thing, huh?
It's a superpower.
Oh. I'd still want to take it back. I don't want to know how much people hate me.
You don't want to know how much people hate you. What's a dab pen? What's a dab pen?
Seriously, Dave, please don't sound so fucking old.
That's hard. I'm fucking old. And I'm going to kill Nerdy. TP Seeker says, take back. Things always sound better in my head until I say them. And that's it. They'd start taking notes. What if they started writing stuff down rather than saying it? You'd still hear it. Loyal says, 100% hear. I was thinking hearing as listening into a job interview or something like that. Yeah, but the point is you'd hear it. My point is you receive it. You know what people are saying about you behind your back.
You are the best spy ever.
Yes. Well, only if the people are talking about you. You're pretty much useless if no one's talking about you. I mean, it'd be awesome if you're Prime Minister, maybe? No. You'd have to put yourself in a position everywhere. An odd superpower. Paul says, take it back so I could walk into the pub and call them all fucking dickheads and not get my head kicked in. Doc says, I'd rather hit all...
Superpower, Dave. Where's the origin of the superpower? Do we have a beginning story?
An origin story. Yes, you were battered about the head.
How did I get...
You were battered about the head by 5 panelists with rolled up newspapers from the 1800s.
Right.
Okay.
And after we take it back, do they forget?
No. They won't. That he doesn't. Everyone else does. Doc says, I'd rather hear all conversations about me would confirm my suspicions about you people.
See, that's my point, exactly.
That we're all assholes.
I mean, everyone knows we're arseholes.
Who's an asshole?
You are.
Oh, just check.
Yeah.
Ricardo says, take back makes fixing consequences of mistakes possible. I like the idea of people talking shit about me. If they're talking about you. Right, next question. Moving on.
Wait.
Wait, what?
What are you making me do? Why do you make me do this, Dave?
Do what?
Answer the fucking question.
We've moved on to the next question.
No. And we already decided that if you tried that bullshit, we just won't answer the next question.
Ilya says, lol, I don't care what people say about me. And Santi says, take back. My answer would be... I don't know. Probably take back. But it's a hard choice. I quite like to hear what everyone was saying about me. Make life a whole lot easier.
Like the stuff people say about you? Is that what you said?
Say again? I quite like to hear what everyone says about me.
You're all right. You're a nice guy. People say nice things about you.
Just because we always say nice things about him doesn't mean everybody says nice things about him.
There are definitely people that don't like me. They're assholes.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, they're
tell me who they are. I will go beat them senseless.
Will you? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That started with Manda screaming at you and threatening your life to killing someone else if they say something bad against you. So moving on to the next question.
Next question.
Are you saying I'm moody?
No.
He would never dare say such a thing. Just heavily
Is
implied.
this one of the incidences where, do I agree with Manda because she's always right, or do I just be quiet?
Gary says, my job makes life difficult for some people, so I'd rather not know.
Ricardo, they were till you got here.
Ricardo says, that's the idea. I now live in the illusion people talk shit about me. I just assume no one talks shit about me. To be honest, I don't. I just assume no one talks about me because I'm not interesting. Right. Next question.
Okay.
Question 1011. How do you think
10,
the
11.
world... Yes. How do you think the world would...
That's one of my favorite numbers.
You could tell me in a minute after I've read the question.
I also like
Right.
11, 12.
Right, I'm back now, so you can stop talking about me.
Had a whole thing talking about you. Right. Question 1011. How do you think the world would be different if religions had not moved beyond basic superstition?
You end up with everybody just being spiritual.
Yeah.
You think?
What do you mean moved beyond it though?
I think what he's saying is we'd never had organised religion. Is that what you mean by this, Dave?
Basically, it's before that because we had ritualised burial before that. We had stuff before organised religion.
Yeah. Okay.
But the point at which you have your basic superstition where you think something affects something, but it doesn't.
But that's how religion started, period,
Yes,
though.
that-
There
it
was
is
no
exactly.
movement.
Beyond it is how religion started. Yeah?
Okay.
Jeff, have
I'm
you got lucky
confused.
socks that you wear?
No.
What do you wear when Southampton are playing to make sure they win?
Nothing, because
Nothing at all?
any fucking superstition I could try is not going to affect their performance. So, we did effectively send our local rivals down yesterday, but hey ho.
We have a superstition about the Green Bay Packers, but it's not a real superstition. It's an excuse to get pizza every time they play.
What superstition is that?
That if we eat pizza when the Green Bay Packers play, they'll win.
Oh.
Gary says less billionaire evangelism. Santi says we'd be way more advanced. Loyal asks, what is basic superstition? Basic superstition is the idea that something you are doing is having an impact on the world, even though there is no connection. So in Neolithic society, it would be something different. But here, an example in reality is people that wear underwear or socks because they think it makes their sports team win.
I don't know, because there is sort of like, I don't know how things would have progressed, because there's there's some schools of thought that religion has some sort of has played some sort of evolutionary advantage to us as well.
It has an evolutionary advantage.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was required is a different matter.
Yeah.
It has served an evolutionary purpose in that it has allowed cohesion.
And would it have served that same purpose?
I think you could have had cohesion other ways. I don't know. At the end of the day, this is what we're exploring with this question. We might have ended up with a lot smaller, more warring tribes. Ilya says, without the superstition, would religion even exist? I don't think it would. But I can't dismiss the impact of con men. I still think you could create a religion without superstition. Maybe? Would it be as easy?
How could you create a religion without superstition?
Well,
what would be the point?
I don't know. You see, this is the point. Gary says science has been adopted more broadly. Sirif says, I think society as a whole would be more accepting of individuals. Maybe, maybe not. Again, we might have gone down the route of similarity based on appearance.
Because I don't know. See, I don't necessarily know that religion had did not really, in my opinion, have a massive role in modern racism. I mean, I'm not going to say it played no role, but I don't think it was something that was key to that. So I don't think, I think ideas and sort of social constructs are not necessarily handed down from like religion or superstitions or anything. So
no, the problem is I think.
Well, back 400 or 500 years ago, anybody who was not the Christian religion, at least according to Christians, were not as intelligent, were not as sophisticated, were not as advanced. So therefore,
but again, that didn't count.
No, that's still.
The problem is that everywhere practiced a different sort of Christianity. But when there was that level of communication, you should see in the UK, yeah, half our churches have got Celtic crosses in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they have bugger all to do with Christianity. They're from before. They've just been adopted by local Christianity as a symbol.
Well, religion has always done that. Has always adopted what was there before.
All successful religions have done that. I should say. I mean, it's one of the reasons something like Christianity has been successful. It's because it's appropriated. It's because it's appropriated things from previous religions, and I think even Islam to some extent has done that. Maybe not on the same kind of level that Christianity has done it, but
yes.
Well, just look at the spires and domes of was it Spain and Catalonia? Oh wait, that's not a country. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do not tell the fucking Catalans that.
I know.
Do not tell the Catalans that.
I think they should be independent myself.
Me too.
I think they've got as much claim to independence as Portugal does. Chad says, I think fear is an early motivator for cooperation. I would say that it was a necessary step in coming together in the early river valleys of the world. And agreed. TP Seeker says, the world would be a better place. Then again, if religions were never asked about, would that make a difference either? Sammy, I guess we would remain at the stage as tribes have remained simplistic and relatively unchanged for thousands of years. I still think we'd have social evolution. Loyal says, I think no evolution at all. We would have died out because I believe religion comes from watching advanced humans land on Earth when we were more primitive and they taught us stuff, so I don't know.
Somebody's watched Battlestar Galactica.
Rainbug says, do you think religion was needed to unite tribes into empires? I don't think so. I would have to study more of the Greek stuff. Because I don't think they shared religions when they came together. Rome
was very, very successful without necessarily... it didn't necessarily force conquered peoples to convert. Now, what they would do is somehow incorporate local deities into their own pantheon in some way or whatever. Like, for example, I mean, obviously there's the famous temple in the city of Bath, isn't it? The Roman Baths. That's just a temple of Ceres Minerva. Ceres is a Celtic deity, Minerva being a Roman deity, and they sort of link the two in a way. So I suppose there is that element of that, but there was no. I mean, in a weird way, I think it was almost a blueprint for what Christianity would later do when Christianity became the official religion of Rome. So,
Gary says, no theological wars. Never Again says, I know I'm not stoned enough to discuss it anyway, and never will be stoned enough to discuss it. Sammy says, I'm usually too stoned. Loyal says, aren't all religions based... What?
Can I talk to the whole, putting the tribes together thing?
Yeah, go on.
I mean, because while yes, there tended to be more likely a scenario where if the tribes were of, similar religions or whatever they would put together, it was more about, mutual necessity and what they saw in each other's regions that they needed, or each other's power structures that they needed. The religion thing played a part, but it was not the sole reason, and it would have still happened without religion.
I think Ireland is proof of that. Yeah, Ireland was so tribalistic even after the country was almost all Catholic.
Yeah. That one too.
Native Americans were extremely tribalistic and had wars.
And their religions were pretty similar. I mean, I wouldn't say exactly the same, but they had
they weren't
many of the same similar beliefs. So.
Well, I think a lot of the things where you look at certain things like mythologies and so on, the way they've kind of travelled. I mean that there's definite similarities you can find in sort of like Eastern mythology, like say India or something, that you can find in ancient Western mythology. Like, I mean, there's a story I forget the name of it. There's a very similar story to Homer's Odyssey in Hindu mythology. And obviously, I don't need to tell MathPig this, Gilgamesh,
But isn't it sort of believed that Homer might have stolen at least big chunks of the Odyssey from that?
Well, it's possible that
almost certainly likely, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily say directly plagiarized from that thing, but you had those oral traditions or whatever. And it kind of becomes a bit like Chinese whispers and so on after that, So when it sort of spreads from one thing to another, it gets changed over time.
But I've got some interesting things here. Sammy says, so why have tribes not experienced the social evolution of which you speak? They have. They go slower when they're not interacting with other tribes. The Mongols... Santi says, the Mongols took over many kingdoms and their religions were a background. They had an insane social evolution when they took over the Silk Road. I think communication is what drove an awful lot of social evolution. Chad says, religion is a powerful story. The only thing that binds people are the stories we share with others. The advent of writing has hijacked our survival instincts. Religion is a story shared across borders. See, I am fascinated to know what's going to happen now. We've got the internet. We had 10 years of the internet where it was true knowledge. It was basically true stuff being added to it, apart from people trolling. And then we've had the last 10 years where the religious organisations have been pumping in massive amounts of bullshit at a rate at which true stuff can't compete.
It kind of has the same... it's the same idea as with what's happening with Fox right now. They actually did a study and found that Hannity and Ingram actually increased virus cases in America because people were listening, to Fox and doing what they said and spread it more. So I think in terms of, the internet and the misinformation, there's still a moment right now where we're balanced and more people are finding truth than they are finding the lies. But when more people are finding the lies and if their balance switches,
the problem is,
I think the internet is just a giant technological oral tradition. I don't see it any different than storytelling. All the written part of the internet is generally ignored by the masses. And that's where the actual wisdom and knowledge exists.
The problem is, it seems to be that the way that search and all the social media sites want to return is the latest stuff. So if you've got a religion with fixed answers to things and you just release the same stuff every other week, that comes up higher.
You're going to tell me that there were the same amount of same percentage of anti-vaxxers in the 1980s that there are now? No, they're not.
No,
because of the way that information has spread, it's become more prevalent. That's why
and
it's not
also on that particular case of what thing that anti-vax didn't really become a thing until like the late 90s or early 2000s when Andrew Wakefield obviously published, which is really the genesis. I'm not saying that there probably were sort of some anti-vaxxers before, but it was never really a thing. It was when
the same can be said for anything that's been around, at the same time.
Yeah,
the anti-vaxxers definitely existed in the 60s and 70s. I can remember them being talked about by the adults. They weren't called anti-vaxxers, but those people who don't believe in immunizations and stuff. What all that's happened is the virulence and quantity of them. But they certainly existed.
You're right. There's always been people against it. I think in terms of the anti-vax thing that we know today, it's because they say things like, it causes autism or the mercury and it's going to kill you or whatever bullshit that is.
That's still, interestingly enough, though, the autism one is not one I actually hear a lot from anti-vaxxers now.
Because they know it's fucking debunked completely to death. And they can't
most of them know all of their fucking arguments are debunked, but
they can still easily go to someone off the street and give them a list and say, look, there's mercury on it, and the normal person off the street isn't going to realize that specific type of mercury is not going to be harmful to you. They don't know that it's chemically different than the kind that poisoned the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, they hear that term mercury. It's like because it's like
poisonous.
It's like buzzword. It's like buzzwords. Like nuclear. People hear that it's a buzzword.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's my position. Is that oral traditions do not give any space for nuance. That you only find the nuance in the written, educational, intellectual discussions, not in oral traditions.
Maybe.
This is quite a serious discussion for critical questions, really. I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong.
It's over in a minute. I've got to. Otherwise, I'm only going to end up with 2 questions. Santi
not
says,
my fault.
I haven't even asked MathPig and Granny yet. The Roman had an insane number of religious beliefs that stood apart from their progress. TP Seeker says, how many religions are in India, and India seems to be a happy place with acceptance of the person is more important than accepting of religions. And I'm not sure you've seen India recently.
I'm going to say, you fucking kidding.
Chad says, not to brag, but I'm pretty sure I'm the second coming.
Not with a name like Chad, you're not.
Not with a name like Chad. Jesus was common then. I think the new Jesus would be called something like Chad or Karen.
Not Karen.
It would not be a cat.
Ricardo says...
Can you imagine that, though? It turns out that Jesus was real and he came back as Karen.
Yeah.
That would absolutely be the end of the world. So.
I have this theory that if aliens ever come to Earth or something, they're Karens. The first thing they're going to be say is, "Take me to your manager."
Loyal says, I wonder if we would just kind of worship nature more. I think there might be more elements.
Probably.
Of that. More naturalistic things, weather and the sun.
Well, obviously, a lot of the pre-Abrahamic religions did have that kind of element to them anyway, and I think there's been certainly with the sort of modern revival of paganism, with Gerard Gardner and the whole Wicca thing. That's always been there's been a bit of a revival with that in the 20th century. So,
yes, Ricardo says, I don't know what, but the leaders of ancient something would need to find a common thread to unite empires. World would only be substantially different if somehow those threads would be weaker, more fluid. I'm not convinced. Why does it have on packaging, it's your own risk taking it? Medicine? This is the third. Apparently I can't count. Santi says, Jesus came back as Richard Madsen. We just wouldn't accept it.
Santi. No.
Sammy says, I'm lucky if I can go a second coming these days. Seraphim says, Richard is Jesus now.
No.
There are no white people in the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think there probably are. I mean, I don't think fucking Jesus or any of them are.
Yeah, Jesus definitely wasn't.
We don't know the race of lots of them. But the common race would have been vaguely Middle Eastern brown? No idea. Does that have a colour? Say again?
I said a number of the Greeks may have been white.
Yeah. I mean, from the genetics, we know that 10,000 years ago, we were probably all still black. Within Europe.
Ooh. Did you see the TikTok video that Bill Nye did about why we all have different color skin? That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I haven't seen that yet, but
And yes, it's
He
super
took it right
weird
down
that Bill Nye is on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie.
Right down to the basics of
cool.
ultraviolet and vitamin D production, melanin production.
Okay, Dave, it's your turn. Just answer the fucking question and move on.
No, we've got to do Granny.
hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Granny.
That's okay.
We don't notice sometimes because you're just sitting there, hidden away. Like we're not even here. It's fine.
I'm just waiting for my turn. I think the world would be extremely different. I think that we would be much more scientific. I think we would be much more in tune with listening to experts in fields, and I think religion would be just a very small part of life.
I think if you had less to dismiss, with superstitions, you can dismiss a superstition when something better comes along.
Mm-hmm.
Religion doesn't offer you that opportunity; it fights. MathPig.
I answered first, Dave.
What did you
David.
say?
I said everybody would end up all just being spiritual and wishy-washy like that, and then the conversation progressed.
Very good.
Dave, you're on.
I'm inclined to agree with what Granny said. I mean, as much as I agree with lots of what's been said overall, I think if we did not have something turn into something more organised, that it would be less to dismiss. I genuinely think we would have better, more quick scientific development.
I got to say, I'm not entirely convinced by that, but I think this could be a conversation for another time, actually.
Yes.
I think that if religion didn't exist, we would be 1,000 years more advanced than we are now.
Yeah.
I think if Christianity didn't exist, we would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Islam
is qualified to that. Sure.
I think Islam is just as big a problem.
Yes, but Islam didn't come about till later. But
True.
The problem is the Roman Empire, right? I don't know much about before that, but the Roman Empire was that close to the Industrial Revolution.
And it wasn't it the Roman Empire that destroyed the libraries of Alexandria?
Yes.
It burned
that
down.
Right there finished it off.
We blame them.
But then again, a lot of stuff. Then again, a lot of stuff from the classical world, was actually saved by Islamic scholars in Baghdad. A lot of stuff that would have been otherwise lost to us.
Yes.
Have you ever read How the Irish Saved Civilization?
That never happened. Was it with alcohol?
No, it's really a good book. It's about how the Irish monks saved a lot of what was destroyed in the libraries. Yeah.
Haven't read the book. Have seen a documentary about it.
Ah.
Can we have a new question?
We can have a new question. Is everyone happy to move on? Good. Question 1012. What is the strangest gift that you have ever proudly had given to you by a small child?
Don't think I've ever had a gift given to me by a small child.
How have you not had a gift? Have you not been in the room with a small child? They just give you things.
If there is, I can't remember it.
Manda.
Dead worms. Handfuls. That's what you get for raising a little boy. So.
Ilya says lint from their jacket pocket. I've had it. Whatever's in their pocket. Yeah, you have that.
I have a 3-year-old at the minute. The amount of stupid things I get handed to put in my pockets is... Yeah.
How many stones do you have to keep?
Oh, she has. There is stones in her toy box over there, particularly smooth ones that she can get. Lots of stones. Fucking, yeah.
Sarah says, I was told as a kid I would give people imaginary frogs. That's weird. Granny.
I just texted Robin and asked Robin if he remembers, because it's really testing my memory. I guess I would have to say chewed gum.
I've certainly had food, and we've been out eating, and she put out your hand and she spat out what she's eating onto my hand because she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's not really a gift, though. That's just them being a dick kid.
Santi says, my daughter took my collectible Spider-Man and painted him black like the movies.
Okay.
What's this? I posted the letter on Twitter that I got with my June bug gift this weekend. Don't understand the relevance. I might have missed something there. Seraphim says, all of the spoons in the house. See, the worst thing is I can't remember anything. Yeah, I've known it's happened. I've had it experienced to me over and over again. Jenny.
My best friend's daughter, when she was about 6, 7, drew a little picture of my dog. Of course, it wasn't terribly good at that age, but it was the right color, and I had pointy ears, not round ears or floppy ears. So she certainly tried to duplicate Mulder. That was the dog's name. And then she made a little frame with little hearts on it and put her name in the bottom and gave that to me for Christmas one year. And I still have it.
That's quite sweet. David Melbourne says, I was told I could have the neighbour's baby brother.
For lunch, dinner?
I've seen multiple children try and give away their siblings.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Right.
There's a children's book, Sister, for sale.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, if a kid was smart, they wouldn't give away the sibling. They'd at least try and trade for something.
At least you got the contract on record then, so it's legal. Right. Seraphim says, I did have my cousin give me her baby sister since she hated it. Sammy says, a hand-drawn placemat with different things drawn on it and a list of words like strong, kind, etc. was pig. When asked, he said it was because I like bacon. I thought he was trying to tell me something. Oh. Right. Question 1013. Given that pearl necklaces are once again becoming popular, are there any things from the 20th century you think we should give another go?
Tamagotchis.
You can get them on your phone. That's the expression on Amanda's face. Amanda.
How about... Go on, Amanda.
She's muted. Go on. Go, Jeff.
I was going to say, how about the Sinclair C5?
It's interestingly, it might be successful now with a decent battery pack.
Yeah. I still don't know that it'd be a massive success, but I think it'd be interesting to try.
Now, is that 4-bit or 8-bit?
No, it's not. It's not. The C5 isn't one of the computers, Jen.
Oh,
it was
okay.
A vehicle. Personal vehicle.
It's made by the same guy. Yeah, it's made by the same guy. Yes, but
is it up there with Robin technology?
Yeah. Santi says swing dance. Brainbug says grunge. Doc says.
Say kind of that.
What are you going to say?
I'd go with like actual decent, alternative music.
Decent
like
alternative
90s
music.
type style,
That's
and
'cause you like
decent
90s.
hip hop too. Actually, that more than the other one because there is some decent alternative, but the hip hop now is just fucking awful. Let's go back to that.
Doc says lawn darts. David Melbourne says platform shoes and three-piece suites. Three-piece suites or suits? Suits.
Suits.
Seraphim said, I heard pearl mattresses and was confused. Well, I'm very disappointed that no one's gone with the smutty answer.
As soon as you said it, everybody knew that you wanted them to, Dave.
And yet no one went into it.
No.
What smutty answer?
All I can think of is like 90s porn, and that was terrible. Go ahead, Dave. No.
I haven't finished reading yet. Chad says, I vote lawn darts too. We need to bring back a bit of natural selection lest we end up in an idiocracy. I've got to say we could distribute lawn darts to into the southern states.
You do not need. Why the fuck do you think you need lawn darts? There's a pandemic on at the moment.
Why?
My kid, as smart as he is, would still want to play with the lawn darts for the story.
Right? Is he clever enough to not be the one? Is he clever enough to not be the one that goes to pick them up?
Yeah, he would probably be the one to throw them, but then he would end up in jail or some shit. No, please don't get my son lawn darts, please.
Seraph says parachute pants.
Oh fuck no!
Oh
David?
no!
Go dancing.
Go dancing. David Melbourne says guitar solos in music.
When you say go dancing, are you suggesting the women in the cage style go dancing?
Well, the 60s, the short skirts, the boots.
Oh, I like the
Okay.
boots. I did like the boots.
The boots was the primary thing.
Yeah.
Sammy says going outside. That was apparently popular in the 20th century.
How about communism?
I vote.
Communism.
I vote for. I vote for the Art Nouveau style in fashion, particularly bringing back late 1920s fashions.
Fair enough. Seraphim says pants with pockets for women. And Chad says distributing lawn darts to the southern states sounds like an opening artillery barrage.
Well,
only allowed to be used in Alabama, Mississippi.
We will replace your guns with lawn darts.
It's been like that. It's been like that.
That is a proposition I'll listen to.
It's a bit like a bit of trivia I heard yesterday. Does anybody know what the smallest pool in Georgia is? The gene pool.
Gene pool. I was going to say.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't say Georgia, Justin. I don't fucking care. I'm not from here. So
Kentucky will make it better.
You like it. I think. Actually, I'll tell you the truth. I actually heard that about Alabama, but
we like to make them better.
And let's keep in mind that Jeffrey Dahmer was born and raised in Ohio, not Wisconsin.
Seraph says hair bands. Santi says I'll bring back original punks. We need them again. Sammy says 80s hairdo. That's big hair on guys, isn't it?
Hairbands are still a thing.
Dave would look well with a mullet.
Would I? I don't think I'd suit a mullet.
No one looks good in a mullet.
How about full employment? That'd be a good one.
You mean we can't lay about at home instead of going to work? Everyone's enjoying laying about at home at the moment.
Dave, it's not what I mean. You know that. Might be quite helpful to create I like that thing sample the thing the TUC published a few years ago about where you could create at least 1 million jobs around fighting climate change in the UK. Yeah. You could actually create a lot more realistically, but that was pretty simple sort of thing.
Yes, but the point is they don't want full employment. Full employment drives up living standards and wages.
Yeah, what a terrible thing.
That's
I'll
absolutely
be right
terrible
back.
if you're a capitalist.
I recently read that they've been funding wind farms over here to stay closed and not be used because they're making too much electricity over here. So rather than having access or shut down a coal burning power station, they shut down and paid the people who own the wind farms to not run them.
The problem is when it's not quite as simple as that.
I know, but it just winds up Amanda. Look at her face; she's getting really annoyed at that.
Well, I mean, obviously not far away from where I live. So on the Isle of Wight, there was the factory that made the wind turbines, and they got a huge amount of taxpayers' money from the government, only to then move their production overseas. When the government did sod all about that, and then they came back to the Isle of Wight like 2 years later with a shitload of more money out of our government. Which it's fucking ridiculous.
Manda.
Did you see? They're taking some of they're like creating artificial lakes and they developed this new type of solar panel that floats within the lakes, so it takes away the excess, heat created on the solar panel, which allows them to produce more power. It's fucking awesome. It's so cool. Sorry.
It's interesting.
Anyway, that'd be my answer to this question. Full employment.
Right. Well, it's too late. Sammy's won the question. Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, fuck off.
That was why that wasn't. I mean, I know it was good, but it wasn't that good.
Another season of Deep Space Nine and see what happened with Sisko afterwards.
Oh, I'd love DS9 to come back. He could come back. The worst thing is he could come back at any point in history. They could throw him anywhere based on where he went.
Yeah.
Cool. They can bring him in free.
Fucking nerds.
Right.
Sorry,
Penultimate question coming.
Star Wars is the better franchise. Sorry.
No, it's not.
You haven't even
Manda, high five. Manda,
I've watched all the good ones.
Yes. What good? You watched one of the new ones. That was it.
I've watched all the films, I think, other than the last two.
When? You said you hadn't watched them not that long ago.
No, I haven't watched the new ones. The 3 new ones. Is it 3 new ones?
New ones.
So
why do you not know dick about Star Wars?
Because I don't remember. I know Luke. I know the fried parents. I know what Family Guy reminded me about. With the Family Guy episodes. I know that Vader cut off. I know that Vader cut off what's his face's arm. I know lots.
Oh, you know.
Right.
I know about Star Wars and Star Trek, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous to obsess over it. They're just a couple of movies.
Yes, completely agree.
It'd be like obsessing over From Here to Eternity.
Exactly.
It's just a movie.
It's not like we're talking about SG-1, for God's sake.
Yeah, that was overrated.
What?
Yeah. Well, I'm just waiting for all the hate in the chat now.
Oh God! Apparently, Disney saved the franchise.
Yeah, even MacGyver couldn't save SG-1.
It didn't need to save it because it was awesome.
It was not that good. It was not that good. I'm sorry.
It really was. Right.
I don't see what the fascination.
I'm going to mute Jeff. There you go. Music SG-1 was the best program on TV. SG-1 love. You see, the side chat completely agrees. I'll do a vote if you want. I'll do a poll later. What?
No, okay. Let's say 2 people. That is not. There's 27 people on the side chat who agree with you.
I will do a poll later on Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will make Robbie use all his sock accounts to go my way.
He doesn't have Twitter sock accounts.
Fuck me.
He only has YouTube sock accounts.
I don't know.
Got a couple accounts on Twitter.
No sock accounts.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. There is MathPig and MathPig 2. That is the only 2 channels that I have, and that is all. Shh.
Okay.
Right.
Dave, did you answer the question?
What was the question? I've forgotten it.
I don't fucking remember.
I've lost the window with it on. Things from the 20th century we should give another go.
There you go.
Godless Scummer says, I'm Dave, and I think SG1 was objectively rubbish in Super Chat for £2. Thank you very much, Jeff. You're wrong.
Well done.
Right, well done.
That was worth.
I feel this Super Chat thing is not working to my benefit.
That was worth paying you £1. You know, that, well, minus YouTube's cut. That was worth paying you just to see him say that.
Go ahead, Dave. Answer the question.
I can't think of anything. I go with 90s dance music.
Oh, God.
Oh, any kind of dance music is bullshit. Gross.
Right. Penultimate question.
The ultimate question.
Penultimate. Keep up.
Thank you, Dave.
Question 1014. Who is the most reprehensible person you had a childhood crush on, and how do you think it would have panned out if you had married them?
I'd stab the bitch.
So you'd be in jail now.
Probably.
You mean you're saying that there was somebody in my life I had a crush on who was a piece of shit?
No, I'm saying that they turned out to be a piece of shit.
Ah, I see.
You know, did you have a crush on, you know, on and every name of everyone evil has gone out of my head. Did you have a crush on Trump?
Oh, fuck. That's gross.
Expression on Jenny's face.
I had a wonderful crush on a person who, whenever we were leaving school in sixth form, took the pen and went no way to writing shirts. And yeah, she didn't write nice thing in the back of my shirt. I didn't realise to the end of the day. That was lovely. So yeah, I'd have killed her.
On the list. She's on the list.
She's on the list. Great.
I can't. I have no recollection of what I thought of back then, so sorry.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Because it was. I'm not gonna say it was a long time ago. But it was long enough, and I'm stoned, so fuck off.
Fair enough.
I never had a crush on a celebrity. I never understood the whole being enamored with celebrities. The only people I ever had crushes on were guys at school. And if I had to pick the most reprehensible of them, it would have to be the first guy I ever went out with, and I'm not going to say his name. And only because he's an avid Trump supporter.
Seraphim says, oh, there. Oh, I missed what her answer was. Pineapple pen. What? Seraphim says pineapple pen, and then says he would have left me once he found out how difficult it is for me to make babies. Who's Pineapple Pen?
Pineapple Pen is a song. You asked for a celebrity she had a crush on.
Oh. Fair enough.
I figured it out.
Go on.
Kirk Cameron.
How would it have worked out?
Oh, I would have fucking killed him.
You'd be a good Christian wife now, wouldn't you?
Oh, no. I know. The thing was, because I never really believed anyway, and I became an atheist when I was fucking 15. So he was already, that way. I just never knew it forever. So, fuck that guy. Fucking hard. Oh my god.
Brainbug says Elsa from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. was super foxy but a piece of shit. Sammy says, Taylor Hanson, he wrote Mbop. That's fairly evil. Ah, but he was fit. Santi says, Jennifer Tilly. I had a crush on her since she first appeared in Chucky, but why has she become reprehensible? Is she reprehensible? She's still fun. And Seraphim says, I would likely be a good Christian miserable wife. Music Collector says Scully was hot. Scully from what? Are we talking about Scully from X-Files, or is there someone called Scully?
Gillian Anderson.
That's what I thought.
Who is, I don't want to say she's reprehensible, but she's dumb as a rock, though. Like, I'm impressed with the character she was able to play, because she's actually, like, not the brightest in real life.
Don't tell me that.
Really?
Don't tell me that. I'm happy with thinking that she is fit and intelligent.
No, not really.
It bugs me. It bugs me that I've forgotten her name. It bugs me that Willow is a bit ditzy and
Alison Hannigan
is a bit ditzy, and it's not that she's not dumb, but she's not what I wanted.
She's not Willow. No. You think about all the movies she did in the early 2000s, though, starting with American Pie. Of course, she's not the
brilliant. But American Pie was a cheeky grin. It was a sideways swipe.
She did all those, like, not scary movies, the other ones, but along the same line. They were just dumb. Really fucking bad.
David Melbourne says Jennifer Tilly is a great poker player. She is. Aunt Jer says, oh yeah, Kirk Cameron, I thought he was hot. Sirif said, you could hang out with Kirk and Banana Man.
Oh God, kill me.
Seraphim says, I had crushes on mostly women when I was younger, trying to think of who I ended up being with. It was horrible. Oh, do you know who I could give you one? Kevin Sorbo.
Ugh. Another one of those idiots.
Hercules.
He was Hercules, for God's sake.
He was also, I quite liked Andromeda. I did.
I still haven't seen Andromeda.
There was one scene in Andromeda which I thought was quite funny, and they were locked in his room, and they were looking for, like, laser guns or phasers, whatever the fuck they called them. And he slid a secret panel, and he pulled out a wig and a sword, and all the characters looked at him and went, that's from a different life, don't ask. Thought it was quite funny.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It was a flashback to him being Hercules.
Oh, well, you didn't say it looked like Hercules.
He was Hercules.
He was Hercules.
I know, but you didn't say it like the wing and the whatever. Okay. Oh, never mind. Dave, did you answer this question?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. I don't fucking know.
Jeff hasn't answered, but he's not here. Jenny?
I didn't have any celebrity crushes. Not in child. How are you defining childhood? Anything below 18 or something below 12 or?
To be honest, it can be older than that. I don't really care as long as the reprehensible bit fits. It can be last week.
That's the problem. I had oh man, I was just so completely hot for Diana Rigg from the Avengers, the true Avengers.
Right. What happened to her? How did you know she was evil?
Well, she didn't. I don't know. I don't believe she did. I just lost track with her when the Avengers were no longer seen in America. I understand she was recently on Game of Thrones, and she's about 80 years old now.
We're talking Diana Rigg.
Yes.
Yeah. Emma Peel. But there were two girls in high school that I had crushes on, and both of them grew up to be just very perfectly fine, wonderful people. So I don't have any reprehensible crushes. I just don't.
I don't think I have. But I'm a little disappointed though that all these atheists here, and none of you identify with Kevin Sorbo's character in God's Not Dead.
Oh God.
Sure.
Because he took everything from me.
Did you see what I retweeted the day before yesterday?
No.
About someone that was talking to their parents. and claim, and they're saying to their parents, "I'm an atheist," and they turn around and say, "It's okay. I'm still religious. I now worship Richard Dawkins."
Oh, fuck off! Come on.
It's just like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an
Clearly
atheist.
real.
I'm an atheist, and I do not like fucking Dawkins.
No.
I just turned around and said, "No atheist on the planet has ever said that."
Yeah.
No.
To be fair, his science is amazing, but you
Yeah.
should just not speak
yeah.
to anything else.
I will say there's no atheist that worships, but I will say I've seen certain atheists who will just blindly parrot anything that Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens has ever said.
Oh, not anything he said.
I blow
Hitchens.
Yeah, but I mean, Hitchens.
But some of his politics is off.
What?
Some of his fucking. Hitchens said some fucking stupid shit.
Did you just say you'd blow Dawkins, Dave?
No, Hitchens.
No, he said Hitchens.
Or Hitch? Oh, okay. Gotcha. I know you would.
But no, I mean that's the one. I mean, like it'd be like and I've known people. I've known people in the atheist community who suddenly were like pro-Iraq war just because Hitchens was, and it's like, yeah, but Hitchens' arguments were fucking stupid and they were wrong, and he was fucking, and he I'm damn sure one or two times lied through his fucking teeth.
Tell us how you really feel, Jeff.
What do you think of his opinion on atheism and Christianity?
No, I had no issue with that. You know, but again, it's like I do see I wouldn't necessarily call religious, but I do see an almost blind sort of Hitchens said it, so it must be true.
Yeah, that's especially when you look at the amount of stuff he's written. He's a journalist.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sammy says
I've heard his early stuff.
There you go. The chick that sang Skater Boy, which was Avril Lavigne. What's her name? Fucking hottest chick out and marries the singer from Nickelback. What's wrong with Nickelback?
Listen to Nickelback, you'll know.
Is Nickelback one of those ones we don't like?
It's
hurt.
Can you remind me?
Sorry, Amanda, you do realise that he cannot accept any liability for facepalm related injury.
I really hurt myself.
I've always made jokes about facepalm related injuries, but I think that's the first time I've ever fucking seen one.
Sorry. Ow.
Angela says, "Oh, I lost my hair." Angela says, "I don't know how many of my crushes turned out. Who was the guy on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman who was Jane Seymour's love interest?"
Not a goddamn clue.
Never watched it, so
I watched it but can't remember.
Yeah. So I was sorry to say I don't really have an answer to this question, I'm afraid, Dave. So
you know, famous politicians.
No, I mean I definitely never had. There's definitely no politician I've ever had a crush on. I mean, there's
Margaret
politicians.
Thatcher.
Oh, come on. You had a fuck with Margaret Thatcher.
Come on. That is evil.
No, she wanted to crush. He wanted to crush Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
So, come on. That'd be like me saying you wanted to get it on with Trump. Come on. That's the British equivalent.
How much could I make off of it?
How much would it cost for you to have slept with Thatcher?
Question.
Oh, because it's Jeff.
No. True.
More money than has been printed.
£20 million that you could give straight to the Labour Party.
Oh, I wouldn't go to the fucking Labour Party.
£100 million?
It'd go to. If that kind of money was available, it would go to like some fucking like revolutionary group or something. It would not.
So you do it for $100 million.
It's not. It would not be going to the Labour Party, especially with that wet blanket Starmer.
So you would sleep with Thatcher for $100 million. What?
Stop putting words in his mouth.
Because he knows he would. He likes
Well,
that.
she's I have. Yeah, I mean, there's always the suspicion that she was into like underage ones because apparently she fucked a lot of minors.
It's terrible. Right, let's jump on this. David Melbourne says, yes, Sam Harris and Dawkins grind my gears. Seraphim says, oh yeah, I had a crush on him and Joe, which is talking about the guy from Quinn, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Sammy says he was probably a jerk. Seraphim says, crushes annoy me, they make me feel stupid. Music Collector says, how you remind me of who I really am.
I was actually going to finish a thought before you interrupted me with the Thatcher things, but trying to remember. Oh, it was about politicians. No, I never had a crush or anything like that on any of them. There's been ones that I was kind of impressed by, maybe were heroes, and I then found out later they were complete fucking egotistical wankers. Yes, George Galloway. I was wrong to think he was a good guy.
Right, what are we up to here? So, we have to skip over some. Andrew, I cut out a picture of him marrying Jane Seymour's character and pasted my school picture over Jane Seymour's face. Music says, is there any hot politicians?
AOC. AOC is hot.
AOC is hot. Kennedy was pretty hot. Both the Kennedys were pretty hot.
Right. Last question. I've lost the question.
Carolyn Kennedy was pretty hot, but she grew up to be pretty stupid.
That's a good answer.
I've seen her interviews and stuff, and she's just adult.
That's a good answer then. Right, okay, last question, yes. Question 1015. Would you rather be able to understand what squirrels are saying, or have the ability to predict earthquakes 90 minutes before they happen?
Well, I'd say that to my immediate situation, let's have a look. Is he out there right now? No, he's not. But we do have a regular squirrel that visits, so it'd be interesting to know what he's thinking. So I'd say on a what would serve humanity a little bit better, it'd be predicting earthquakes. But to my own immediate situation, yeah, a lot of squirrels around here.
So you talk to squirrels?
Well,
not talk.
I don't know.
Be able to understand.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of being something better, I mean, in terms of something that's going to be more beneficial to people, predicting earthquakes, I feel is going to be better.
Fuck the squirrels. Nope. They're all cunts.
They're all cunts.
Oh.
And if you understand them, they might cause the.
Hold on. Sorry.
Squirrel watch.
Cyril says you're a bitch, Manda.
I know I am, so it's not like he's wrong. Fine.
The fact that the Squirrel Network has reached this far is quite intriguing.
He says he's going to come and steal. He's going to come and steal nuts from you.
Okay.
He's going to visit Ireland. Seraphim says, would people believe me about the earthquakes? I'm sure they would after the first few.
Yeah.
But the problem is you've got to be close to it to be able to predict it. It's not like a remote
You
skill.
did not stipulate that.
Yeah, Dave, you didn't stipulate that at all.
Of course.
That's true, Dave. No, you're lying. You didn't.
You have to be relatively close.
Well, it depends on relative. I'm going to pick the earthquakes because I got a brother in San Francisco and I'd like to be able to warn him if anything was coming.
You probably want to be within 50 miles. We'll go
and then in that case, definitely the squirrels.
If you're within 50 miles, you're going to get nailed by the same earthquake. What kind of advantage
you've
is
got
that?
90 minutes to get away.
You ain't going to get
but
far
you have
enough.
the means to get away.
You would have if you had the skill.
Yeah, if you had a helicopter, maybe. and carry it around with you.
I mean, you don't even need to get away from an earthquake. You just need to get somewhere safe. Squirrels don't really have earthquakes around here, says Seraph. Seraphim says, what people... No, I already answered that. Doc says, I want the power to predict squirrel quakes. You can't have that. It's totally made up and fabricated.
Cyril disagrees with you.
Chad
What's
says,
a squirrel? What's a squirrel quake?
He's just making things up. I don't understand why he has to bring this fanciful stuff into a proper quiz.
It's either an earthquake made by squirrels all jumping together at the same time, or else it's squirrels just all wiggling together.
He says it's a combination.
They're too small. I could see sharks pulling that off, but not squirrels.
He says if I get the red squirrels on board as well, what's left?
You can't talk to them. You can't talk to them.
I'm not talking to them. I'm just communicating what they're saying to you.
There you go.
I want to know what Badger thinks of this one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Badger.
Mushroom.
Chad says, personal reasons, earthquakes to save people. Clearly I want to Doolittle this shit, though. You could have squirrel spies, but how would you tell them where to go? You can't communicate with them. Antjer says, squirrels, I always want to know what animals are thinking. I don't see the use in predicting an earthquake. It's not like you can stop it.
If you can understand what they're thinking in some way, you can find a way of communicating, Dave.
Maybe very basic.
Not necessarily. Yeah. So your premise fails.
Santi says, if I could talk to them squirrels, I'll take over the world in 2 days. Seraphim says, also squirrels. Ricardo says, clarifying question. Would it be public knowledge that I could predict earthquakes? I assume it would become public knowledge. Sammy says, if it's every earthquake on the planet, then you'd never get a rest as an earthquake several times a day. Yes, there is, but it's not. It's only relatively local.
So we're talking an earthquake. We're talking an earthquake with some consequences here. Yes.
Yes. We're talking about the level of prediction that some animals seem to be able to do.
Oh dear! SG1 is fucking getting caned in this bowl.
Right, I'll fix it when I get off. Go on, Manda. To be fair, so Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
You say that?
Did you just fucking fuck?
You say that there's like less than 2% difference between Star Wars and TNG. The Stargate is quite considerably in distant third.
I want to be. Ricardo says, I want to be a crazy squirrel guy. It won't stand. I'll find somewhere to post it. Santi says, you can prevent earthquakes. Who do you even call? Who'd believe you? What you could really prevent? I think the problem is, I think you would only have to be around to predict 2 or 3 and tell the authorities before it became obvious that you could predict them. I mean, these are the sorts of things that, if psychics could do, people would start believing them. Right. I think, did everyone answer? No, they didn't. No one answered. Manda.
What was the question?
No,
I said fuck the squirrels. We all answered,
you did.
Dave. We did.
MathPig.
Pretty much. No, MathPig, you didn't answer, honey.
I was the first person to answer.
What with?
I didn't answer.
Totally paying attention.
What did you say, MathPig?
Earthquakes.
Jenny.
I didn't answer. I think I would like to know. Oh boy. I guess earthquakes. 'Cause if you could save a life, that'd be worth it.
Granny. Oh, you went
I
squirrels
already
in the
answered.
end. You did. Sandy says you'll be arrested for causing earthquakes. He's not wrong. You would have the power. You could use that, couldn't you? We talked in the past if you could predict an eclipse more than a few hundred years ago.
Sufficient technology is magic.
Exactly. If you could predict an earthquake, you could turn around and say, "Give me this, or I am going to make the ground shake." You do that half a dozen times nowadays in America, and people will be worshipping you.
Why was it just in America?
Because your people are batshit crazy. No, because it's not just America. There's other places in the world that would do it as well, that are deeply that are so invested in their religious beliefs that they will accept it blindly, even though scientists are going, "Of course he's not fucking doing it."
But yeah, America is batshit crazy still.
All of us, though.
Once you prove you can predict earthquakes, there is no limit to the things you can convince people you are able to predict. And never again says, and then they kill you too. This is the problem I've got. If you could accurately predict earthquakes, I'm not convinced the government wouldn't kidnap you, keep you in a box, and move you around the country. You only got 90 minutes warning, and you can do it from 50 miles, which means they could keep you in the air potentially, flying around. As an
that's
early
the
warning.
thing. But that's the thing. See, I could keep an eye on the government.
Could you? Again,
Yeah.
you can't communicate with the squirrels.
I can. I will be able to after a while. If I can understand them, I will be able to find a way of communicating. Now, it might not be for direct speech, maybe for a form of.
Never again says, I am totally convinced they would do that exactly.
Government. If the government could kidnap any of you for predicting earthquakes, I will cause a squirrel quake.
Will you?
Yeah.
None of our governments just randomly picks people up and kidnaps them, do they?
That would be wrong, Dave.
That would be very wrong.
I'm doing it here right
That's
now.
never happened.
Yeah, they're
Are
doing
they?
it here in Portland, and they're threatening to do it in other places.
I'd like to see them try to do it in Atlanta. I really would. Just see them try. It would
I have a
end
question to ask you after the show.
very badly. What?
I have a question to ask after the show.
Okay.
Right, in which case we shall go. What are you waving?
You said we're leaving, so I'm like, okay, bye all.
We haven't got that far yet. Right.
Sorry.
And say thank you to Manda. Thank you to Granny. Thank you to MathPig.
Nobody's answering you today.
What?
We're all waving, but you can't wave.
He's nodding his head from side to side. Take your hat off at least.
That's what I was thinking. Tip your hat.
Tip your hat. Thank you to Jeff. And thank you to Jenny.
You're very
Thank
welcome, dear sir.
Thank you to everyone in the chat. That's freaky as fuck.
So much.
Does anyone have anything to chill today? No one does anything on Monday, do they?
No, I haven't got any.
Thursday open mic night. That's the next thing I have.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 7:30, I am doing a show. Who would make a better senator for Alabama? Senator Doug Jones or Tommy Tuberville? I have asked each campaign if they would send a representative to be on this show. I don't know if that will happen or not. And if not, Godless Engineer is going to be there, and we will talk about how little experience and how little Tuberville has on his agenda for his platform.
Excellent. I think I'd make a better
So
representative.
So the Republicans. I was just going to ask them. So the Republicans actually had the sense not to put Roy Moore up again, then, because there was actually talk of him being their candidate again, wasn't there at one time?
Well, he was on the slate, and when they voted in November, there were about 5 candidates, and Sessions and Tuberville were the top 2, and so they had a runoff just last week, and Tuberville won the runoff, unfortunately.
This Tuberville is a former poodle groomer?
He's a football coach. He used to be the coach at Auburn.
That's enough.
He hasn't even lived in Alabama for the last 10 years.
Right. Just
that doesn't matter. Football, Alabama.
Let's say goodbye. Then we can argue about it. Right. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.